3, 2, 1. Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nixie coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. So I want to talk about how I like to mix waves, ad-libs, using their plugins. Waves kind of like, I feel like they always got the best plugins that really just help you get a very fast sound. So let's not waste no time. Let's jump right into the video. If you guys do, like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop some more video suggestions down below. I'm more than happy to get to it. Let's not waste no time. Let's listen to a little bit of the music. Then we're going to come back and get the sauce in these ad-libs on this track real quick. All right, come on, let's go.
They won't believe all the money I'm making. Had to go get it, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. Keeping it real, I ain't known for the faking. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, we ain't switching. Feeling like thuggin', trying to run up them digits. My pockets heavy, survivor the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain, trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. Bitch, we be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it, out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled. My enemies worried, they know they in trouble. I ain't even tripping, that karma gon' get them. Don't fuck with my brothers, they got that dog in them. Ain't never sober, got drugs in my system. Still feel the vibe, it get weird, then I'm shifting. Yeah, that boy Lex hardest Chico alive. How's it gon' turn when that Chico arrive?
All right, so you guys kind of got the idea of, the vocal and everything like that. So I love using ad-libs as a way to introduce new sounds to the listener as they're listening. I always tell the artist sometimes, maybe you don't want to just say the last word. Maybe you want to switch it up a little bit, say a different word or something like that, because you might already have something like a delay or maybe even a reverb on the lead vocal already that's already kind of insinuating kind of like the last word that's already, the artist is already rapping. So I always try to tell my artists, bring a little something new to the ad-libs, bring a new sound, a new character, or just have fun, just turn up, right? Or give some contrast. So another way I like to help myself too as an engineer, I like to use a different type of auto-tune. So on my lead vocal, I actually have, the Advanced Auto-Tune Pro, but then on my ad-libs, I have the Auto-Tune Access. So, apparently, according to Auto-Tunes, these two different Auto-Tunes, they have like a different algorithm, just they kind of all slightly sound different. All of them really, even Waves Tune or whatever, Meta Tune, they all kind of all have like their own like little character, kind of like an all quirky different type of reaction. So I like this one too because it has way less features, and on the ad-libs, I like to just crank it up all the way to fast and put the humanizer on nothing, because I kind of wanted to have like that character and everything like that, kind of give it like that little ear candy sweetness type of dripping in your ear type of effect, right? Off of the auto-tune alone. So let's get the mixing right now and let's see, what type of sound that we can start getting out of these ad-libs. Usually when I have my ad-libs, I always think to myself, do I want them to be clean or dirty? Then that kind of starts to make my head run a little bit through what type of channel strip I want to use. So because I kind of want my ad-libs to be dirty, I'm going to use the SSL-G. So that's another way you can help yourself by picking the right, channel strip or EQ or compression that's going to give you the sound that you hear in your head. You kind of already got to have a vision before you even like start to get the processing and all that stuff like that. All right, so let's just get right to it.
Survivor believe all the money I'm making. Money I'm making, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. Fuck what they say, I ain't known for the fake. I ain't known for the fake. All the money I'm getting. Money I'm getting, we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. Run up them digits, survivor the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. Bitch, we be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it, out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled. My enemies worried, they know they in trouble. I ain't even tripping, that karma gon' get them. Don't fuck with my brothers, they got that dog in them. Ain't never sober, got drugs in my system. Still feel the vibe, it get weird, then I'm shifting. Yeah, that boy Lex hardest Chico alive. How's it gon' turn when that Chico arrive? Hop on the beat, I don't walk, bitch, I glide. Poppin' no boy, don't need rest, but I'm titty. Survivor believe all the money I'm making. Money I'm making, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. Fuck what they say, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. Money I'm getting, we
All right, so I love using something like the SSLG. Helps me get a quick sound, and like that very first processing, the ad-lib is all about positioning. You pay attention to how, this is like my starting point. How far do I want to push back the ad-libs? I'm using this filter, and then usually with ad-libs, I'm going for the mid-range. You don't really need the low lows or the top, the tippity top of the ad-libs. You really just need the mid-range because at that point the lead vocal is kind of already giving you the low end and everything like that for like in regards to the vocal. All right, so after that, you pay attention. I use the gate to help give a little bit of that abruptness. You see the gate going back and forth between the gate and the compression. It's kind of like having this little type of movement. I'm getting kind of giving a little reinforcement for his vocals. Usually when I'm on the SSL, I love pushing the threshold the whole way before I even touch the ratio, because that's going to give you a little bit of saturation, a little bit of grit. And that's why I picked this channel script, a little bit of that VCA compression circuitry punch without even doing no compression at all. And then we had a fast release too, it's just really helping the ad-libs create a sense of urgency. So when it came to the EQ, we was just carving out, some of that low mid. We don't really need that low mid. We really much prefer to get a little bit of that higher mid, It's called the hell frequency. That's like usually the part of the vocal, like this range right here, that high mid range, that helps everything cut through, that helps give a little bit of presence to the ad-libs. So after that, now that I've kind of like cut up my mid range a little bit from the ad-libs, I'm gonna use something like RVox to add a little bit of that body, a little bit of that size, a little bit of that weight back into them ad-libs without using EQ. All right, let's look. Come on.
Y'all won't believe all the money I'm making. I made it, that shit for the taking. I'ma give a fuck what they saying. People they real, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pocket's heavy, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rockin' designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. This would be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled.
So it's kind of like we kind of added back that a little bit of that mid-range we took away, but in a compressed sense. Now the ad-libs sound a little bit more dense and everything like that. Okay, so after that, I'm gonna use something like an L1, and I kind of like using the L1 on ad-libs. Sometimes I might put it at the beginning or the end, but I'm looking for the language of the ad-libs to change a little bit. I want a little bit more abruptness, a little bit more whoo, whoo. And I love so much using the L1 on a lead vocal or even the ad-libs. And this is an incredible Waves plugin. It kind of gives that digital distortion, but that good type of digital distortion. I'm telling you, that digital distortion is not bad. Just like anything, you got to know how to use it. You got to know how to put like a certain type of pepper inside of the food. Just because that pepper is too hot, that don't mean you just don't use it at all. People still like eating jalapenos even though they hot as hell. You just got to know how much of that jalapeno to use and when to use it, what type of food to use it in. So that's what the L1 is. It gives me that abruptness, a little bit of that picanta inside of the, I don't even know if I said it right, but it's just a little bit of that spice inside of them ad-libs.
Y'all won't believe all the money I'm making. I made it, that shit for the taking. I'ma give a fuck what they saying. People they real, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pocket's heavy, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rockin' designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. This would be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled. My enemies worried, they know they in trouble. I ain't even tripping, that karma gon' get them. Don't fuck with my brothers, they got that dog in them. They never sober, got.
All right, cool. So you hear like the L1 is adding a little bit, it's changing the language a little bit. Now that mid-range is starting to really get compact, really dense. So every time them ad-libs cut through, it's just really just smacking you in the face and everything like that. Not every song is appropriate to do that, but this is one. So after that, I'm gonna use something like a little bit of distortion. I think I want to use Manny distortion or something like that. And I kind of like to use just a tad bit of distortion on the ad-libs just to give it a little bit of edge, a little bit of buzz, a little bit of crust around the bread, around the pizza and everything like that we kind of cooking up right now, you feel me, with the ad-libs. So I'm just gonna blend this in. Let me see if there's a preset that I usually like to use. I think it's distorted vocal. I like to use this preset, and I just like to ever so blend that in. All right, not too much distortion. We don't want it to sound like Travis Scott or nothing like that, but just a little bit of distortion, give us a little bit of grit. Okay.
Y'all won't believe all the money I'm making. I made it, that shit for the taking. I'ma give a fuck what they saying. People they real, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, you know we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pockets digits, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly.
All right, so now at this point, I feel like the ad-libs need a little bit of wetness. They need a little bit of water to cool them off a little bit. So usually I like to use something like the Reverb, and sometimes I don't actually like to route my ad-libs to the same reverb that I'm sharing, because maybe this time with this song is a perfect example where I want a little bit of separation. So I'm gonna use something like the long dark hall. My ad-libs are kind of bright right now. That's kind of just what I feel like I want with this vocal. I didn't go for that typical radio sound we already all know about. So let me just blend in a little bit of this reverb and let's look at that.
Y'all don't believe all the money I'm making. Money I'm making, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. People they real, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, you know we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pockets digits, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. This should be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it, out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled. My enemies worried, they know they in trouble. I ain't even tripping, that karma gon' get them. Don't fuck with my brothers, they got that dog in them. They never sober, got drugs in my system. Just for the vibe, it get weird, then I'm shifting. Yeah, that boy looks hardest Chico alive. Chico gon' turn when that Chico arrive. Hop on the beat, I don't walk, bitch, I glide. Poppin' no boy, don't need rest, but I'm fitted. Y'all don't believe all the money I'm making. Money I'm making, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. People they real, I ain't known for the fake. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, you know we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pockets digits, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly.
All right, so you kind of hear what I did. You know, I brought in a little bit of that reverb. Then at that point, I feel like I need to adjust my other effects. So it's a constant battle with ad-libs and trying to get everything to fit. You know, now that I add a little bit of reverb, I feel like I need to pull back a little bit of that slap I had on that lead vocal, because there's a little bit too much activity going on. Sometimes I might even go to that, you know, that delay that is, you know, working on the ad-libs and bring the feedback down as well. But the last thing I'm gonna use is one of my favorite plugins for ad-libs, and it is going to be the Waves, if I can pull it up, the Waves Mono Mod. That kind of really helps the ad-libs get this crazy type of bounce. I like to bring my range out just a little bit, spread on wings out a little piece, you feel me? Then I like to play around with my speed. I don't want it to be too annoying and all over the place. Sometimes that's cool, but most of the time I just like something that's really gonna help keep the ad-libs, you know, interesting.
Y'all don't believe all the money I'm making. Had to go get it, that shit for the taking. I'ma do me, give a fuck what they saying. Keep it real, I ain't known for the faking. They won't believe all the money I'm getting. I'm with my brother, you know we ain't switching. Feeling like suckers trying to run up them digits. My pockets heavy, survival the fittest. Chico, he saucy, you know that he sliding. For that little chain trying to cop me an island. Ain't rocking designer, but I'm still the flies. Rolling so hard, my best friend Molly Cyrus. Bitch, we be grinding, working, hustling. Yeah, we done got it, out the muscle. I got them haters looking puzzled. My enemies worried, they know they in trouble. I ain't even tripping, that karma gon' get.
All right, so this is pretty much the end of the video here today. I just want to tell you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop more video suggestions down below. I hope I was able to help you guys get a couple different creative things that I like to do when it goes about ad-libs, how I like to use a channel strip in a certain way, how I like to, you know, really sculpt out the mid-range, how important the freaking mid-range is to the ad-libs. You know, it's not all about just doing that radio effect constantly. There's actually a little type of thinking that you got to do when you do the ad-libs when it comes to the positioning and the tone and everything like that. But I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.